Welcome to Unhinged Magi! Oh man, we're going to have a great show today.
We are.
We're talking about Disney!
Don't you love it?
Yes!
I love it.
Disney! It's so fantastic. Maybe they'll make a secret lair where Disney is, no, Mickey Mouse is some kind of planeswalker.
That would be pretty cool.
It is the multiverse.
He could totally do it too. Mickey would have all these abilities.
Oh yeah.
And that might actually get my wife to play too.
Yeah, he could have.
Honey, would you play Magic Disney?
Yes.
Yep, see, there you go. 100% successful. Every secret lair sold. They'll have a paintbrush of power from them, right?
Yeah.
+2 event. Paintbrush any creature into any different color.
Yep, there you go.
-2 feature. Change a creature's type with the paintbrush.
There was actually a game that was very similar to that. You were going around with Mickey and a paintbrush and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
why I'm using it.
Oh, okay.
Plagiarism! I don't know what his ult would be. You can actually paint other people's cards with literal paint.
So we have an extra special video for you guys today where Open Boosters had this amazing idea that I love the creativity of it. He had this whole kind of spicy theology that he was just pulling out of like some random place in his brain and coming up with this creativity piece that Wizards, you guys need to pay attention to this. This is good.
Okay, so you guys remember Lindul the Necromancer. Oh my gosh. Back when we played in 1995, there was a game called Chandelar. Thank you, because I can't pronounce words. It's one of those things.
It was the very first version of Magic I remember playing on a computer, and it was made by Microprose, and it was a very good game that had like all the original old school sets effectively, and you had a little guy walking around and you could play games with people, and all the games were for ante and stuff like that.
It was really fun.
And there was a main, you beat the color wizards, and then you had to go for a main wizard.
Arzakhan. That's it.
Where is it? It's like, oh yeah, Archazon.
He was convinced the guild masters that to rule Chandelar.
The end of the game is you have to actually beat him.
Yeah. And so he gets defeated, and he has destroyed the artifact in which Lindul's spirit was contained. But we don't know what became of Lindul's essence is unknown. Right? So he destroyed this artifact. Okay? So,
and you seal away Arzakhan for a certain number of years based on how much damage you did to him. That's the way the game actually worked when you beat it.
Yeah, exactly. So, what I want Wizards of the Coast to do is make a brand new set and have this be the storyline for Lindul the Necromancer. Okay? So, we all remember Lindul's Paladin from Alliances, right?
Yep.
And Lindul actually is a Necromancer, and everybody who dies serves him even after death. Right?
Mm-hmm. Especially a Necromancer's minion.
Exactly. So, from his essence, he will call this Paladin. Alright? And this Paladin will rise to serve his master once more. And what he does is he goes to Lindul's vault. It's an ancient, it's all flattened out. Because we're talking
also a magic card, by the way.
We're all talking about years later, right? Years and years and years. He goes in and he breaks into this ancient vault and pulls out 2 artifacts. Lindul's Thackeray. 2 Thackeray's. And he carries them all the way across to where Lindul's essence is. He holds out 1 Thackeray and absorbs Lindul's essence into the Thackeray and then puts it away. It then begins his master's second plan. He starts making and building a trap. A trap unique. It's got, using Lindul's essence, he raises the undead. He makes much darkness into the land, bringing talismans into the world, casting a big giant trap.
And there's a lot of flavor that could surround something like that, because this is like old arcane magic with old arcane characters. So Wizards could be reaching back into the vaults of older sets and cards to bring flavor back out into this set.
Lindul's Paladin then gets to meet Jace the Mind Sculptor, who senses this darkness that's coming into the world, coming into the universe. Jace comes over trying to investigate what is happening in Chandelar. Was that correct?
Yep.
Pronounced that correctly? Holy mackerel. He goes to investigate. he sees what is happening and with his paladin raising this, and comes in and begins to attack and beat up, because he can destroy undead creatures very easily. And as he's coming in, he holds up a Thackeray, the other Thackeray, and points it towards Jace the Mind Sculptor and pulls his essence in. And you see it being pulled out of him into this Thackeray. Now the Thackeray then gets filled, and Jace's body goes limp. He then takes the other Thackeray, which holds Limdul's essence, points it towards Jace's body, and puts his master's essence into Jace's body. Limdul, inside Jace's body, rises and stands up. He comes then walking forward and takes Jace's Thackeray. He looks into Jace's Thackeray and sees Jace in there and smiles and crushes it. Thus, Limdul is back. What do you think? Jace is dead.
I love the flavor of that. There's like finality to it, and there's the resurrection of an old powerful character with access to arcane magic, and it would bring so much nostalgia back into current sets. And I mean, let's face it, guys, Jace has gone on long enough. I mean, I like Jace and Chandra and all them as much as the next scared new Magic player, but you know, the reality is it's kind of been overplayed. There's been a lot, right? So I wouldn't be crying if Jace got crushed in a Thackeray. I don't think.
Well, there's some great cards that we can bring into this. Not only can we bring back maybe Limdul's or the Limdul's Paladin, that kind of stuff. We can also create new cards based on that. Like the Thackeray itself. The Thackeray, I was always having it to be a particular artifact, a 0 casting cost artifact that we can place onto the board. Now this artifact will only go away if it is sacrificed for a simple thing, such as maybe sacrificing it will shuffle your, after a certain amount of cards, like if you have 10 cards in your graveyard, then it would actually just shuffle your deck back into your library.
So the artifact unto itself has its own base effect.
Base effect, correct. Then I also want it to have all the colors. So I want you to be able to not tap the artifact to fill it with a color of mana, but you actually take a green forest and you, well, it doesn't have to be a forest, but you pump.
You get a mana in your pool.
You put a mana in your pool and then you put it into the artifact. Red mana, you put it in there. Once you have all 5 colors, you can then tap the artifact for these other 5 spells that are on the side. And you can select one. It's kind of like those spells that we have, which are usually really expensive. They're 2 blue and 3, and then they have multiple choices that you can choose from. But you can choose what the spell actually does at that moment when you tap it.
But these would be special spells that can only be conjured by a fully powered Thackeray.
Correct. And so, and all that mana would be drained from the actual Thackeray itself at that point. So that would be a way to cast spells through the Thackeray. And so you would have basically, I think about turn 3, you could actually fill the Thackeray to do its effect.
Oh yeah, you forgot to tell them the casting cost of the Thackeray.
Well, the Thackeray cost is 0 to put on the board.
Right, and so it had its initial ability where, like, for any time you can just sacrifice it and shuffle your graveyard back in. But I think we agreed that it had to have some kind of limiting factor on it, like maybe like not until there's at least 10 cards in the graveyard or something like that. Yes. But it is a 0 casting cost artifact that can sacrifice for an effect, which means it has value unto itself just for that.
Yes. And now, with Limdul. Limdul, when he is played, he is actually another card, another planeswalker. We have multiple Jaces. There is a Limdul Necromancer card already in existence, but we can actually create a new planeswalker for a Limdul. And what we would like, what I would like to do, or we would like to do, sorry, is actually putting it into play, but he has some of Jace's Mind Sculptor's abilities.
Because remember, he's in his body.
So he could have maybe part of Jace the Mind Sculptor's ability, and Jace Borlin's ability, and some of the other abilities of Jace.
Like maybe one ability would be to confuse all of Jace's relatives at the next family gathering.
I think it would be. And I think that would be fun. He could really trick his mom, his sister, and all that kind of stuff. And then he could kill them all and erase them as the dead.
Yeah, and that should at least get a couple loyalty counters for that one.
Oh, yeah. Jace's family.
But yes, you know, you could basically have Limdul's essence combined a little bit with the Planeswalker he just took over to like really add flavor to it. But you get that Limdul kind of nostalgic storyline kind of shadowing over the entire set, right? And then what you could also do is like all of these other cards that were a part of that universe when Limdul was a thing in the sets that he came out, you could have echoes of those kinds of artifacts, like similar kinds of ones, maybe with a different kind of perspective or slightly different ability coming back into this also. So you'd be pulling like older nostalgic players back in while at the same time giving them a new theme and a whole lore wrapping around the whole thing.
Yep. And that would be, that first part of the story would be probably box one, and then they would continue on from there until he's ultimately, I guess, defeated or pushed back somehow.
Or maybe he's banned from his family gatherings.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody's tired of getting gravy on their cake.
But the first thing, Jace dies. That's the most important thing. Because I don't like it.
So what do you guys think? Do you guys like new kind of like theology coming out, storylines that are deep and rich? Do you guys miss that kind of stuff?
Do you miss it? I kind of miss it.
Yeah. Not just like trying to do things to kind of appease like whoever the latest offended party is and give them cards that just make them happy. Something like that. But actually just really going for a deep, rich storyline.
Do you think the storyline does sell boxes? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it doesn't even sell boxes
If it's good enough storyline, I could see it selling boxes or cards. People definitely are out there get into that.
I'm asking them.
Oh, sorry. What do you think? I thought you were asking me.
No, I was asking them.
I'm the only one sitting here.
No, they're sitting there too. I see Greg, I see Marcia, I see Brady.
You just talked about the Brady Bunch.
I did.
The Brady Bunch is watching Unhinged Magi.
I'm telling you, they are. They're out there.
Okay, so there we go.
All right, so what do y'all think? Was it a good story at least? It's a fake story because they have to publish it first.
But I think Wizards of the Coast should definitely do the storyline.
Yeah, I think it'd be good.
And you know, we're cool with royalties, you know?
Yeah.
We're good.
We are.
Just call us. Call me, Watsy. We're not expensive. We're cheap.
Very cheap. I sell out like that.
Yeah, like that. Totally shill. Anyways, thanks a lot, guys, for tuning in.
Yep. Hit the like button, subscribe, make a comment, and pound the bell.
Yep. Just pound that bell.
Bye.